Hello, folks. This is Freedom Fighter. Today is Wednesday, July the 24th, 2024. I had my morning briefing with Goldilocks today, and there are some phenomenal articles that Goldilocks is sharing. The last one we're going to touch on real quick will be about Iraq and the issuing of bonds to their citizens. This is the first time that they have done this since 2003, issuing national bonds. Why is 2003 so significant? Because that is when the invasion of Iraq occurred. So now Iraq is going back in time, if you will, but actually moving forward, is to issue bonds that they have not been able to do since 2003 with the U.S. invasion of Iraq. So we're going to touch on that. Like I said, very, very fantastic news. We're going to come back to that. We're going to jump right into the U.S. Treasury and what Goldilocks is sharing. Today, the U.S. Treasury Department, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, otherwise known as FinCEN, announced a proposed rule to strengthen and modernize financial institutions' anti-money laundering and countering the financial of terrorism programs. This is the exact program that Iraq has implemented, believe it or not, several months ago. Iraq has already done this within their banking system. It was a part of their economic reforms that they had implemented. So here we have the U.S. Department of Treasury doing the same thing. Due to shifting from an old financial system to a new digital cloud-based system, we are going to see the government work much closer with banks for a period of time to enhance new security laws. Why are these new laws important, ladies and gentlemen, as it pertains to terrorism and anti-money laundering? Well, moving into the new digital system, we have to make sure that the corruption is not going to be prevalent in the new system the way it was in the old. FinCEN is proposing a new rule to strengthen and modernize financial institutions regarding their anti-money laundering and CFT programs to combat financial terrorism with a set of standards and regulatory systems. These are laws, these are regulations. The Financial Crimes Enforcement Network is getting more involved with banks. It is a bureau of the U.S. Department of Treasury that works to combat financial crimes and protect the financial system. Folks, when these are implemented and protecting the financial system, it's protecting our money within the financial system. This proposed rule will, one, it will amend the existing program rules to explicitly require financial institutions to establish, implement, and maintain effective risk-based, reasonably designed AML and CFT programs with certain minimum components, including a mandatory risk assessment process. It will require financial institutions to review government-wide AML or anti-money laundering priorities and incorporate them as appropriate into risk-based programs, as well as provide for certain technical changes to program requirements, also to promote clarity and consistency across FinCEN's program rules for different types of financial institutions. So here we have a collaboration of standards and regulatory laws to be applied to curtail and attack financial crimes in our banking system. And this is all from a digital perspective because we're moving into a digital banking system. This proposed rule is being enforced by the U.S. Treasury's de-risking strategy to promote a more secure financial institution for the people, which is us, who invest in them. It will be important for us to follow this process to see where we are in its completion so we can have an idea where we stand in our engagement with the new financial system. We are at the proposed rule stage at this point, and we need to watch for the final rule stage whereby the implementation process begins. Then Goldilocks shares the articles, the supportive articles, and the links directly to FinCEN. Even the second link is the actual link to the FinCEN.gov, showing the proposed anti-money laundering and rules that are being enforced into our banking system to protect our funds in that banking system. Next article by Goldilocks just talks about hedge funds and money moving into our banking system and what will help push gold, the prices of gold up. Because why? Gold will back our currencies, all the currencies in the new banking system, for all of the currencies we hold. We are beginning to witness hedge funders come back to the gold market and get more involved. Hedge fund groups provide a lot of liquidity. What's liquidity? Money, cash flow, moolah, dinero, into the banking system. Hedge fund groups provide a lot of liquidity, money, to the markets as they anticipate profit-taking opportunities. The anticipation of the gold market becoming volatile is one of those opportunities that is bringing them back to this sector of the market. Gold has been going up consistently throughout the year, but we are entering into a time whereby the stress that will be placed on gold as a backing or hedge fund asset to protect investors from market volatility is currently in season. What is volatility? It's the moving of the up and down. It's lack of stability. Gold helps to stabilize volatility. Gold has been going up and up consistently throughout the year, like Goldilocks says. In times of volatility, it is a great time to do day trades. Some people avoid this process and hold on to their assets knowing they will climb at a later date. This is where we are in the gold market, and investors are locking in their positions. The bottom line is gold is beginning to get a great deal of attention, especially as we tokenize our assets with gold, and gold is in process of being seen as money. It's important for us to watch closely in the movement of gold and its evolution during the next few months, and new classification, meaning the classification of gold as money. As the demand for gold continues, it will eventually get to a culminating point whereby sound money is declared upon its use. This will be the time for us to get really excited about where we stand in our tokenized assets that will influence every sector of the market because of the real world value placed upon every asset of the new financial system. What are assets? Precious metals, gold, silver, copper. Also digital assets, which are our digital currencies. Also our paper currencies are assets. So when Goldilocks talks about whereby tokenized assets will influence every sector of the market because of the real world values placed upon every asset, I just mentioned those assets. Goldilocks also shares the supporting links and documentation about hedge funds that follow that. Now we will talk about and complete with Iraq. Due to the great demand for trading in national bonds, achievement bonds, first issue, and based on the request of the Minister of Finance in Iraq, this bank, meaning the CBI, will offer achievement bonds. This is the second issuance of these bonds, the achievement bonds, on behalf of the aforementioned ministry and for an amount of 1.5 trillion dinars. Iraq has not sold national bonds, ladies and gentlemen, since 2003. That is before the U.S. invasion of Iraq. National bonds increase liquidity. That means national bonds increase cash flow, money, moolah, dinero, for a government's infrastructure. Just think of the city, the towns where you live. The infrastructure, roads, bridges, tunnels, wherever you have infrastructure in your town, in your state, they are funded by bonds. Bonds that are backed by the government, not bonds you purchase on the internet. bonds that are backed by a government. So here we have Iraq moving at a point where they are seeing such stability, such strength since the invasion of 2003 that they are now issuing bonds to increase money and cash flow for their infrastructure. Okay? Think about that. A few months ago, Goldilocks shared an article. As a matter of fact, it was April the 9th. The CBI reported for the first time that they were going to issue these bonds. Here we have a second issuing of these bonds. Another issuing of these bonds. This move will encourage the involvement of their private sector in Iraq. It will engage the people of Iraq and the people of their country to invest in secured bonds backed by their own government, backed by Iraq. Just think, here in the States, every city, every state, the federal government, this is what they do in order to secure the infrastructures in our communities. These bonds, where our country backs those bonds. Here in the States, Iraq doing the same thing, first time since 2003. National bonds will enable the growth of Iraq's community through investing in what provides that growth. Folks, this is just a part of the overall picture of their economic reforms. No, do not be under the mindset that, oh, they have to wait for these bonds to mature and grow. This is just a part of their process. It's a part of their economic reforms. This is amazing news. Think about it. That they are now at a point of strength as a nation, as stability in their economy, that they can issue these government backed. So these bonds are guaranteed. The value of these bonds, the future value. These can be 3-year bond notes that mature in 3 years. They may be 5 years, mature in 5 years, 10 years. I've seen bonds that are upwards of 30 years before that bond reaches maturity, meaning it reaches its highest value. So the government can actually back and guarantee the future value of these bonds in present day time. So they guarantee it and back that bond. They have an idea what a bond would be worth in 30 years. And they can guarantee that value and back it in present day time. So just think, they have the wherewithal, the stability, the security, the money, the assets and reserves to do this for the first time since the invasion in 2003. Put that into perspective, folks. We hope that you're picking up what we're putting down. The first link that Goldilocks has shared is directly from the CBI making this announcement regarding these bonds. We hope that this sheds light in any dark place that you may be at right now in your life and regarding to this investment. Today is Wednesday, Hump Day, July the 24th, 2024. Make it a wonderful day. As always, we are sharing unconditional love with you, and please do the same with others. Be well. Ciao.